So, where do we begin? The ASLA Futures paper was published nearly 10 years ago, and we're still working to build these key tenets into our practice. Content curation is about these three things: future-focused learning, interest-driven participation, and multimodal investigation and experimentation with information. So let's unpack that further. The needs of our learners may be increasingly diverse, as are their experiences in an online environment. Our world is increasingly responsive and personalised, as should our teaching and learning be. We've always taught multiliteracies, and digital literacy is one facet of what we must equip students with. But the online environment also requires high levels of visual literacy, and the proliferation of fake news, media literacy becomes an important tool for our learners. I think this quote from the Futures paper sums up the key challenge that this new learning landscape has created for school library leaders. Tonight, we're looking at how that traditional role of gatekeeper can evolve to meet the changing dynamics of how our learners interact with information. So let's explore this new role of the school librarian. The new role of the librarian. I've called this the new role, but I want you to see that this list is not groundbreaking. It's not revolutionary. This is what we have been doing. It is what we will keep doing. Only the vehicle is changing. The tools at our disposal are changing. But with that change comes potential. A range of resources and equitable access to those resources. Librarians are uniquely equipped to lead our schools, though that potential is not always seen by our communities, or perhaps more accurately, by the leadership teams in our schools. But this is where the real challenge lies. We need to make ourselves indispensable to achieving the strategic goals of the school, and that starts with curriculum and technology. Content curation is about using technologies for information creation, storage, retrieval, dissemination, organisation, and communication. This should all be in the support of the curriculum goals defined by your school as part of their strategic plan. But what does this mean? So how do we curate content to support the curriculum goals of our school in the everyday setting? Perhaps you're at the beginning of this journey. Perhaps you're looking for ways to expand and develop this aspect of your role. So I've broken this down into 4 key components, starting with supporting broad, open discovery. And how do we do that? Tell a story through our organisation of information, helping our students make sense and interpreting that information by adding context for them. What is a librarian if not a storyteller? We are experts at sharing and engaging our students with stories. This is what content curation is all about. Modelling the organisation of content, the organisation of our digital selves. What is a librarian if not a role model? We're experts at modelling good research strategies, academic integrity, copyright ethics, effective pedagogy, and the list goes on. We have always inspired curiosity, nurtured those who seek to know more. When you're putting together resources and other digital content, this is what you are doing. We are modelling how to engage with online information. We are modelling how to make sense of the world, a new world based more online than in reality for many of our students. But we're also empowering them to continue that learning for themselves and by themselves. So we also translating that information skills for the digital classroom. Rather than throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say, we need to only translate our expertise to this new context. We've always worked to ensure our collections include quality resources, expose diverse points of view, and are relevant to the needs of our communities. Now we do so with digital resources. We can send our students off to Search Infobase or another subscription database, but we can also lead them to the best of what Infobase can offer. We can bring together resources from many sources, as we've always done with print resources, to ensure the crucial scaffolding that we've always delivered. Interestingly, the move to digital collections is seen to challenge equity by the devices students have or don't have to access those collections. But it also gives us the opportunity to reach our students more directly and in a more targeted way than ever before, as it can support our collaboration with teachers and teaching teams too. If you're feeling less confident about your knowledge of the curriculum, use collaboration to inform your choices. Connect with curriculum leaders, connect with the teachers of that curriculum, ask them for feedback and be responsive to requests they make. Seek them out rather than waiting for them to seek the library out. Ultimately though, content curation is just another application of our collection management strategies. So the third aspect, target your efforts for efficacy and efficiency. When setting targets for your library program, be specific. Make sure they're achievable by breaking them down into actionable steps. Don't get caught up in how things have always been done. Take stock of how you're spending your time. Are you spending extra time on tasks that require a lot of effort but don't see enough reward? How can you reach the widest audience and support the most people within the time available to you? Perhaps identify a teaching team or individual teachers or even a student groups. Focus your energy on working with them and creating content for them. Word will spread, I promise. As the great work you do is put on show, students will begin to seek out your support. Teachers will begin to ask for something like that for their next subject or for their other classes. You need to collaborate with those who are open to what you can offer them and value your contributions. These are your champions. Build a library program, might be small, but it will be mighty. And the fourth is scale your library program and reach your community at their point of need. There's a lot that can be learned from modern marketing techniques. To scale your library program, you'll need to create a presence or brand for both your library and yourself. I like to use the term broadcast here rather than promote, because I feel that the idea of self-promotion can make us all feel quite uncomfortable. But to remain relevant to your school community, you must be the one to show them why you're relevant and why your library program has value. This can take time and a lot of perseverance, as I'm sure you all know. Over time, though, you will begin to build a community within your community. They will be your promoters and your advocates. These are those champions we're referring to in the last slide. None of these efforts, though, are made in isolation. Each is a brick you're building a foundation for your library program. Libraries are in a unique position to see the gaps between what is explicitly taught in terms of transferable skills, for example, research strategies, study skills, and so on, that teachers who are isolated within specific curriculum areas may not see. This is the sweet spot for libraries. This is where we can make our mark.